The Legends of King Arthur and His Knights. Chapter 4. Chapter 4. King Arthur conquers Ireland and Norway, slays the giant of St. Michael's Mount, and conquers Gaul. The adventures of Sir Balin. The land of Britain being now in peace, and many great and valiant knights therein ready to take part in whatsoever battles or adventures might arise, King Arthur resolved to follow all his enemies to their own coasts. Anon he fitted out a great fleet, and sailing first to Ireland, in one battle he miserably routed the people of the country. The King of Ireland also he took prisoner, and forced all earls and barons to pay him homage. Having conquered Ireland, he went next to Iceland and subdued it also, and the winter being then arrived, returned to Britain. In the next year he set forth to Norway, whence many times the heathen had descended on the British coasts, for he was determined to give so terrible a lesson to those savages as should be told through all their tribes both far and near, and make his name fearful to them. As soon as he was come, Riculf, the king, with all the power of that country, met and gave him battle, but, after mighty slaughter, the Britons had at length the advantage, and slew Riculf and a countless multitude besides. Having thus defeated them, they set the cities on fire, dispersed the country people, and pursued the victory till they had reduced all Norway as also Dacia under the dominion of King Arthur. Now therefore, having thus chastised those pagans who so long had harassed Britain, and put his yoke upon them, he voyaged on to Gaul, being steadfastly set upon defeating the Roman governor of that province, and so beginning to make good the threats which he had sent the emperor by his ambassadors. So soon as he was landed on the shores of Gaul, there came to him a countryman who told him of a fearful giant in the land of Brittany, who had slain, murdered, and devoured many people, and had lived for 7 years upon young children only, insomuch, said the man, that all the children of the country are destroyed. And but the other day he seized upon our duchess as she rode out with her men, and took her away to his lodging in a cave of a mountain, and though 500 people followed her, yet could they give her no help or rescue, but left her shrieking and crying lamentably in the giant's hands. And, Lord, she is thy cousin Hull's wife, who is of thy near kindred, wherefore, as thou art a rightful king, have pity on this lady. And as thou art a valiant conqueror, avenge us and deliver us. Alas, said King Arthur, this is a great mischief that you tell of. I had rather than the best realm I have that I had rescued that lady ere the giant laid his hand on her. But tell me now, good fellow, canst thou bring me where this giant haunteth? Yea, Lord, replied the man, lo, yonder, where thou sayest 2 great fires, there shall thou find him, and more treasure also than is in all Gaul besides. Then the king returned to his tent, and, calling Sir Key and Sir Bedwin, desired them to get horses ready for himself and them, for that after evensong he would ride a pilgrimage with them alone to St. Michael's Mount. So in the evening they departed, and rode as fast as they could till they came near the mount, and there alighted, and the king commanded the 2 knights to await him at the hill foot while he went up alone. Then he ascended the mountain till he came to a great fire. And there he found a sorrowful widow wringing her hands and weeping miserably, sitting by a new-made grave. And saluting her, King Arthur prayed her wherefore she made such heavy lamentations. Sir Knight, she said, speak softly, for yonder is a devil, who, if he hear thy voice, will come and straightway slay thee. Alas! What dost thou here? 50 such men as thou were powerless to resist him. Here lieth dead my lady, Duchess of Brittany, wife to Sir Hull, who was the fairest lady in the world, foully and shamefully slaughtered by that fiend. Beware that thou go not too nigh, for he hath overcome and vanquished 15 kings, and hath made himself a coat of precious stones, embroidered with their beards. But if thou art hardy, and wilt speak with him at yonder great fire, he is at supper. Well, said King Arthur, I will accomplish mine errand, for all thy fearful words, and so went forth to the crest of the hill, and saw where the giant sat at supper, gnawing on a limb of a man, and baking his huge frame by the fire, while 3 damsels turned 3 spits whereon were spitted, like larks, 12 young children lately born. When King Arthur saw all that, his heart bled for sorrow, and he trembled for rage and indignation. Then lifting up his voice he cried aloud, God, that wieldeth all the world, give thee short life and shameful death, and may the devil have thy soul. Why hast thou slain those children and that fair lady? Wherefore arise, and prepare thee to perish, thou glutton and fiend, for this day thou shalt die by my hands. Then the giant, mad with fury at these words, started up, and seizing a great club, smote the king, and struck his crown from off his head. But King Arthur smote him with his sword so mightily in return, that all his blood gushed forth in streams. At that the giant, howling in great anguish, threw away his club of iron, and caught the king in both his arms, and strove to crush his ribs together.